Hello, I'm Davia Chambers with Let's Talk Tobago. Along with our news stories, this week's program will give you insight on a plan to develop Tobago's economy. We're at the Cove Eco-Industrial and Business Park, and we're going to show you around and tell you a bit about the company that's responsible for it. So, let's get started with a quick look of what's inside this half hour. The Peer Resolution Center gets underway, a workshop for rabbit farmers, and World Food Day 2015. These stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago continues.
The Tobago House of Assembly has a plan, the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan, CEDP, and it is for all of us. Are you ready to benefit from higher levels of development in Tobago and a higher standard of living?
We ready!
The priority areas are branding Tobago, clean, green, safe and serene, business development and entrepreneurship.
Are you ready?
Human capital development.
I'm ready.
Social development and resilience.
I'm ready.
Improved infrastructure and utilities. Enhanced safety and security.
I'm ready.
Environmental sustainability. Tourism.
Are you ready?
Marine resources and forestry.
Are you ready?
Good governance and institutional reform.
The CEDP is ready. Join us and get on board.
Let's travel the island, straight back to my land, even to Thailand.
Hello, thanks for joining us. We're in the industrial park on the Cove Estate, and this grey building is one of the factory shells named for the businessman and philanthropist Isaac T. McLeod. All buildings and streets in this park are named after Tobago's business pioneers. Our lead story this week: a community is in shock and horror after an elderly couple, Richard and Grace Wheeler, were murdered in their Canby home. Police say they have promising leads and urges anyone with information to come forward. More on this story.
The solving of the murder of 72-year-old attorney Richard Wheeler and his 63-year-old wife and real estate agent Grace Wheeler at their Canby residence is top priority for the police and the Tobago House of Assembly. Chief Secretary Orville London urged the public to help police with any information that may lead to the arrest of the perpetrator responsible for this crime. It was the first item on the Chief Secretary's agenda when he addressed those at the Post-Executive Council media briefing.
On behalf of the residents of Tobago and all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, I want to express sincerest condolences to the families and friends of Mr. and Mrs. Richard Wheeler, who was so brutally murdered at their residence within the last 24 hours.
Mr. London says that is not a situation which Tobagonians should tolerate. In light of this, a team from Homicide in Trinidad is working with Tobago's police officers to solve this double murder.
The latest reports are that they have some promising leads, some encouraging leads, and I am hopeful that they'll be able to bring the perpetrator to justice in the shortest possible time. That, of course, will bring little relief to the families and friends of the victims. But I think that all of us have a stake in ensuring that this perpetrator is brought to justice.
Crime Stoppers is offering a $100,000 reward for any information given in the arrest and conviction connected with the killings.
Anybody who has information has a responsibility to ensure that that information is brought to the attention of the police. Individuals like these don't deserve our sympathy, don't deserve our empathy, don't deserve our cooperation, and we have a responsibility to offer to ourselves and our own protection to make sure that we give the police any information which we consider relevant.
The Chief Secretary again referenced the importance of the community policing initiative and the need for a closer relationship between the police and the residents. There is also the Tourism Policing Initiative, a plan which the THA has been requesting for years. Plans to start training officers and launch the program is expected to start by next month. I'm Omar Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Formed in 2009, the Eco-Industrial Development Company of Tobago Limited, better known as EIDCUT, develops and manages this industrial park. EIDCUT assists startups, to large businesses, to individual entrepreneurs. Schools are sometimes at their wits' end trying to stop the bad behaviors of children. The students don't always listen to adults, but will they listen to each other? Here's a new project with a new approach.
This is a session where children from 4 secondary schools in Tobago are learning about working with their peers to resolve student conflicts and other disciplinary issues. The 4-day workshop is the beginning of the Peer Resolution Center, a pilot project that's the first in the Caribbean. It's helping the justice system and the schools find more beneficial ways of dealing with children's misbehavior. Participants are already seeing the benefits for their peers with this kind of disciplinary action.
Not all teachers could talk to students and not all students could talk to a teacher openly because they'll be more comfortable talking to their own peers because everybody does cooperate with people in different ways.
The peer resolution committees will deal with issues such as stealing, fighting, and other serious offenses by reviewing the facts and the circumstances, listening to everyone involved in incidents, and making recommendations to correcting the wrongdoing. The process is also helping some children realize their calling.
My future career goals is to become a lawyer, right? And some of the stuff they're teaching here is really beneficial to becoming a lawyer. These good assets like leadership and how to relate to the persons and everything.
The Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport is partnering with the Trinidad and Tobago Justice System on the project, one that the division is determined to make a success.
We're very proud of this program and we think it's going to make a tremendous difference in terms of what happens in school. I think it's going to minimize the incidences of misbehavior by students because students would hardly want to have their own peers, have them in a setting where they're dealing with their misbehavior. So we think it would work.
This national project is funded by UNAID and supported by the UNDP. It's hoped that after review of the pilot, other secondary schools can be included by early next year. I'm Umudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
This is Rojas Engineering Limited, a metal fabrication company and the industrial park's first tenant. After 2 years and with major clients such as the Scarborough General Hospital and WASA, it's moving into a larger factory shell in the park. Now from manufacturing to the newest rock star of root vegetables, cassava. It's taking center stage. Watch this.
Moving cassava from these to this, bread that has 40% grated cassava mixed in. It's just one of the initiatives that the Cassava Company Limited launched in an effort to expand the line of products which they already sell at the Tobago Cassava Shop. And with these products currently out, there are plans to have people outside of Tobago enjoy all that cassava can be made of.
We're looking to export some of this stuff. We took, products, this cassava kurma, the fruit cake, even the cassava, the punch, the colada on various missions. We took them to Jamaica, to Suriname, to Guyana, and they were very well received. So we're looking to sell to the market. So what we want to do in the future is to have these people compliant with international standards.
The company was started in 2009 under the Division of Finance and Enterprise Development. The Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing and the Environment is also involved in supplying the company with the raw material via the farmers. It's all a part of the Assembly's comprehensive economic development plan that will see various sectors profiting from its use on the island.
All of it we're hoping to source from Tobago. So definitely the farmers will be direct beneficiaries. We will do products like cassava meal, when I said meal, grated, which will be available to bakeries, to hotels, to other people who want to make pone and whatever. So they also will benefit.
But it's not just about cassava. The company will be getting a name change to indicate the inclusion and the sale of other products made of dasheen, green banana, plantain, and sweet potato. Other local foods that are healthy additions to our diets.
The cassava company will partner with the Division of Agriculture, the Division of Health, to tell about the importance of these staples to our diet, and in that way we'll increase production, we'll increase use, and we'll probably decrease the high incidences of some of these diseases.
Some of the plans of the cassava company have been implemented already. The other initiatives are expected to be rolled out in the coming months. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Teachers are staying after class, but it may not be why you think. More on this when we return after these messages. We'll be right back.
Hey, why don't you step into the Scarborough Library facility? It has all the knowledge of our land, people and heritage that you just won't find online. The Scarborough Library facility is now open. Tobago Library Services. Information inspires innovation.
Quiet River Corporation is another business in the industrial park. It's run by Peter Marshall and it specializes in woodwork. It's located in the building named for Rufus Phillips, the business icon who began with the fabric store on Burnett Street in Scarborough. Now, there's a bit of everything in our news this week, and this next story is all about fun when teachers get in the act.
Stand by me, whoa, stand by me, oh, stand by me, stand by me, stand by me.
The winning performance from the 8th annual Teachers Talent Contest. The competition was conceptualized by past principal of the Palativere Anglican Primary School, Aaron Reed, as a way to revive the Tobago teachers get-together in an event that's entertaining and enjoyable.
The Secretary for Education is on record as saying that this is the best one he has ever come to. They really enjoy the show, and to testimony to the quality of the show is we all know that Saturday we had very bad weather conditions and the crowds came out. So it tells you that the show is of interest and it's a very strong product.
The prizes are sponsored by the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport. The division sees the importance of the event, which provides teachers with an avenue to interact with each other outside of school.
The idea was to create a social activity for teachers and add to the social calendar of the whole Tobago teaching fraternity. And they are now able to come to an event which is an event of their own. You know, normally you go to Heritage, you go to Carnival, you go to... This is one of your own where your own is performing for you.
The show is open to the public, but the participants must be teachers from any of the island's schools. It's a setting that allows them to demonstrate that teachers have talent.
This event allows teachers to bring their talent to the fore. There are lots of talented teachers. Some of them would have been performing at the churches, at community events, even national and international events. Some of them teach and train people to perform. But here they have an opportunity to put their own talents on stage and, of course, receive something in return for it.
The feedback from both the participants and the audience is encouraging. Mr. Reed plans to continue with the event, and he's already organizing new attractions for next year's show. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Cut provides business services to any size company. An eco-friendly business that is no longer in the business incubator startup level could occupy this 5,000 square foot factory shell. Farmers take time to meet, benefit from shared experiences, and learn the do's and don'ts of the trade. It's called continuing education. And with that, here's this.
The rabbit industry in Tobago has grown, with over 50 farmers now owning rabbit farms, with some running into basic problems like feeding. So to ensure the industry remains a lucrative one, yes, rabbit meat is sold for $40 per pound. The Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing and the Environment intervened, hosting a rabbit production workshop to give farmers the help they need.
We looked at areas like feeds and feeding. Rabbits are herbivores and they require a lot of grass or plant material. We looked at areas like record keeping. That's important for farmers to establish trends within their rabbitry so that they can see where they're going wrong. We also looked at diseases and things like heat stress, because we live in a hot, humid environment. Heat can be a particular deterrent to proper fertility.
Anthony Hislop owns Tony Bogey's rabbit farm. He last attended a rabbit production course over 5 years ago and says he's benefited from the latest workshop.
Generally, the whole upkeeping, keeping them healthy, the main thing, first the disease, because rabbit very susceptible to all kind of disease. They divide very fast, they multiply fast and they die faster. So especially the disease thing, I get a lot from that.
With no prior training in the industry, Van Dyke Leslie was also grateful for the opportunity.
I have been into the farming of rabbits, not by attending courses and all this sort of thing, but I trial and error over the years. Because in the early years, there was never really anything to guide farmers as to how to grow rabbit. So you have some rabbits and you deal with them, some die, some live, and they, by trial and error over the years, you learn a few things. However, this course has put things in proper perspective.
The division is hoping to build on the success of this workshop in the near future to encourage more food production in Tobago. So, for those who love rabbit, you'll continue to have a year-round supply as these farmers put what they have learned to good use. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Agro-processing, information and communications technology, food and beverage, and renewable energy are a few sectors EADCUT focuses on as it helps to drive Tobago's economic transformation. Our next story is about a dozen awards with one common theme, honoring talented young persons who have demonstrated excellence in their field.
Like a plastic bag, drifting through the wind, wanting to start again.
That thrilling performance opened the 2015 Tobago Youth Awards, hosted by the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport. It set the tone for the remainder of the evening, where successful achievers were honored in varying areas. In education, Shanice Musgrave copped the award for her work in the past assisting students in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Poet Cleon McPherson, who has become known for his intellectual poetic humor as a spoken word artist, won in the performing arts category. The Youth Entrepreneur of the Year is Nicolette Leacock of Movement Bago Apparel. Joel Jofield, the island's first hydroponic farmer, took home the award for agriculture. Daniel Francis, Youth Service. Abini Taylor, Youth Leader. Caston Cupid, Media. Doniel Vincent won the Health and Wellness Award. Cherise Elliott, Youth Triumph. Meanwhile, Aquaforce Dragon Boat Team was named the most improved youth organization, with Roxborough Police Youth Club having the most effective youth program project, Youths Against Marijuana. Rotaract Club of Tobago was named the most outstanding youth organization. Safia John of Scarborough Secondary took home the People's Choice Student Leadership Award, which was voted on by the public via social media. And Collis Hazel was named Youth Mentor of the Year. The evening ended with live entertainment. I'm Keyshawn Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
A closer look at pharmacists, next when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Welcome back. I'm Davia Chambers, and behind me you can see one of two multi-producer units currently under construction. These will accommodate small-size entrepreneurs. Now, whether it's from behind the scenes or as a direct help on your road to good health, pharmacists take care in the care they provide. Caroline Wallace tells us what happened during Pharmacy Week in this next story.
This is Khalida Edwards. She's a sixth former at Signal Hill Secondary School and may be considering a career in pharmacology after her first-hand experience during Pharmacy Week 2015 at the Scarborough Regional Hospital.
I've learned that it's not just you come in and filling out a prescription for someone, it's more a process, and you have to look through different books to find, the right concentration of a certain pill.
That's exactly the purpose of Pharmacy Week, to foster greater public awareness of the role of pharmacists who ensure patients know how to take their medicines safely, give advice on side effects, and manage the supply of medicine according to law.
The Pharmacy Week is not only geared to put pharmacists out there or assistant, is really geared towards patient and being patient-oriented. So in educating our patients about lifestyle diseases, choices they make, we can reduce the amount of, or help improve the amount of medication they use.
Ms. Mohammed says it is important to share this information with high school students who will soon be making career choices.
What we notice as the year go by, less young individuals are going into the pharmacy profession. So instead of just going to schools and talking to them about pharmacy, we invited them in to come and be aware about the profession, what we do. So it's not only about counting pills, as everyone may think. It's about stock inventory, managing, getting less drugs on the prescription for patients.
The department also celebrated Pharmacy Week with a fitness walk and patient lectures. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
This industrial park will be the home of business incubators, factory shells like we showed you earlier, a shared business center, an innovation center, and an administration building, all a part of E-IDCUT's design for the island's sustainable development. You are a key component in growing the economy, and the following information will get you the tools to push your business ideas forward.
This plan is all about you too, and how you can contribute to Tobago's economic development, diversifying the economy, preserving the environment, and improving the standard of living of our people. You may be wondering what you can do to help develop Tobago. That's exactly the kind of information the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan Secretariat's Community Outreach Program will provide.
The entrepreneurs on the ground, they are the ones that will benefit more from this Comprehensive Economic Development Program. For example, and let me just draw an example on agriculture. We are in an era and a time where micro-enterprise and business development are the orders of the day. No longer can we speak about the mundane kind of agriculture development that our forefathers used to indulge in. For example, I love to speak about that foreign initiative that is now on the Esplanade. Things like that can create a lot of micro-entrepreneurs in Tobago.
The program seeks to create a two-way line of communication with the public and encourage them to create products and services that will give Tobago a competitive edge. This will help the island adjust to rapid changes in the national and global economies.
Thursday and Friday of next week. For example, on next week, Thursday, which is the 29th, we will be at the Betsy Hope Louisdor Multipurpose Facility. On Friday, we'll be at the Hamsden Lowland Facility from 5 p.m. So we are appealing even now through this medium to ask the communities to come out.
He says because all of the priority areas of the CEDP fall in line with each division of the Assembly, every division will be represented at the meeting.
The representatives from each of the divisions, 3 or so officers from each of the divisions, will be at these community meetings, and they are coming fully prepared to answer any questions, to raise any issues, to take back the issues from the participants back to the division so that we are establishing this nexus.
The CEDP spans from 2013 to 2017. I am Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
The solar-powered Cove Eco-Industrial and Business Park is 140 acres, and all 75 lots are equipped with the modern infrastructure, roads, water, electricity, drainage and telecommunications necessary to expand its facilities at any time for land and building tenants. You love food and you need food to sustain your body. Could you love growing food too? Omodara Mills has highlights from World Food Day 2015.
The Agri-Man adventures using animation to encourage young people to get into farming. That's what one farmer and founder of Y Farm, Alpha Sinan, is doing to show children that farming is a viable career. Mr. Sinan, who plants citrus, peppers and dasheen, says that it's not just about growing food today, but making the industry sustainable for generations to come.
We are producing a farmer, we are growing a farmer. So our motto is growing future feeders from the ground up. Because we can't just think about growing crops when we don't have people to plant the crops. So there must be somebody who's going to grow young farmers. Y Farm wants to create what we call a farmerpreneur, which is a farming entrepreneur for the 21st century. So hence, obviously, we will have a greater increase in food being produced.
There's also seedling production, another part of the sector which allows farmers to get crops and to supply the market with enough food. The Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing and the Environment spearheads this via the Louis D'Or Nursery. But they aren't the only ones. Farmers such as Ines Thomas from Belgarden, who worked at the nursery before starting his seedling business about 8 years ago, sees this as an important part of the food security process.
I could boost the farmers with seedlings, not food, with seedlings. With them do the planting. With them produce the food, I can produce the seedlings. Okay? And I feel that is excellent.
Besides facilitating exhibitions like those at World Food Day, the division also provides farmers with grants and technical support so that they can meet the food demand on the island. The division also hosts workshops, sessions that Crown Point farmer Nguzi Umoya appreciates.
Going to various classes that's presented by the association or the heads that be, there's a lot of information that they provide, irrigation information, there is information as far as to increase production, so we make use of those type of classes per se that's available so that we could be abreast and aware of how we can make better yield and a better outcome for things.
The World Food Day celebrations take place over 2 days in Tobago at the Dwight York Stadium Parade Grounds. It's an event through which the division can encourage all Tobagonians to take a more active role in food sustainability on the island. I'm Omodara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's Have Your Say time, one of our favorite segments where we get to interact with our viewers about what matters in Tobago. Our question this week is, as the world celebrates World Food Day, what more can Tobago do to ensure there's enough food for all on this island? While you at home think about this, let's see what a few of our viewers had to say.
Agriculture is the best thing, because they said Tobago was the food basket, they need to bring back that.
I bought some property in Pirates Bay, 1 acre, and I turned it into farming. So I'm growing organic food. So I say plant more.
They should get more land, right, and offer more people more land.
Great incentive in terms of helping the farmers, sustain themselves,
Put more emphasis on agriculture. Because as far as I know, when I was a little youth, food used to leave Tobago and go down to Trinidad.
Stop wasting time and plant more gardens and establish themselves and get a good food basket for Tobago.
That's all for this edition of Let's Talk Tobago. Please email your comments or queries on anything you've seen in this program and visit our website at www.tha.gov.tt. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Davia Chambers on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information. See you next time from a location somewhere near you. Have a safe and productive week.